cold hands, cold feet. After 60, most people accept it as part of aging. They should not. There is one specific organ sending that signal, and it is not the one your doctor examined. Maybe you wake up and your feet are cold before they touch the floor. Maybe your hands search for something warm just sitting in your own kitchen. You have tried the compression socks. You moved more. You brought it up and someone said that is just what the body does as it gets older. That answer never sat right with you. And I want to tell you directly, it is not right. Your body is communicating something precise. And the longer that signal goes unanswered, the quieter the organ sending it becomes. By the time most people take it seriously, they have lost years they did not have to lose. My name is Amadou Salori. I have practiced West African plant medicine for over 45 years, a lineage carried across 7 generations of my family. In this video, I will tell you exactly which organ is behind your cold extremities, why it fails silently in your 60s, the 4 forces pushing it in the wrong direction, and the complete 4-layer protocol I have watched change this for hundreds of people. Stay with me through the second half of this video. There is something I resisted recommending for 2 years before I finally understood why some people plateau, and that piece matters more than anything else I will share today. My grandfather taught me that the belly is the mother of the blood and the keeper of the body's warmth. He said, when the belly is strong, warmth moves freely. When the belly is troubled, the cold finds every corner. 45 years of watching this lineage serve real bodies has not changed what that teaching knows how to do. But I have added something to it, and in a few minutes, I will tell you why and what that has meant for the people I serve. Now, the organ. The one responsible for cold hands and cold feet is your kidneys. Not your heart, not your veins, your kidneys. And once you understand the mechanism, you will never hear cold extremities the same way again. Your kidneys produce a hormone called erythropoietin, which scientists call EPO. This hormone is the signal that tells your bone marrow how many red blood cells to make. Red blood cells are warmth carriers. They move oxygen and heat from your core all the way to the tips of your fingers and the bottom of each toe. But after 60, kidney function declines by roughly 1% every single year. It moves quietly. It moves without pain. Most people have no idea it is happening. Therefore, EPO production drops. The bone marrow makes fewer carriers, and the body makes a choice about where to send the warmth it still has. Your extremities, the farthest points from your heart, are always the first places that stop receiving full delivery. Think of your circulatory system as a river delta. The main channel runs strong, but the branches at the far edges are the first to dry up when the source grows weaker. Your hands and your feet are those outermost branches. The drying started upstream years ago, but that is only the first layer. There are 4 forces pushing this process faster in bodies over 60. And one of them is something almost every senior is doing right now, every day, without knowing it is harmful. The first force is what I call the quiet thirst. The body's thirst signals weaken with age. Many seniors move through the entire day in mild dehydration without a single urge to drink. But the kidneys require steady, generous hydration to filter blood efficiently and to produce EPO at healthy levels. When dehydration is chronic, even mild, the kidneys strain and output drops. The blood grows slightly thicker. The smallest vessels at your fingertips and toes receive even less. The old ones in my lineage said a field that drinks only when it begs has already given up half its crop. The second force is vessel stiffening. The smallest blood vessels in your fingers and toes are lined with tissue called the endothelium. Over decades, a quiet, persistent inflammation inside the body begins to harden and narrow that lining. The vessels feeding the kidneys themselves undergo the same stiffening process. Less blood reaching the kidneys means less function. Less function means less EPO. Fewer carriers means colder extremities. This is one long chain, and it begins at the wall of the smallest vessel in your body. Now, the third force is the one that almost nobody is discussing in a 6-minute appointment. And it is the reason some people do the right things and still do not fully recover. After 60, the body loses more than 50% of its beneficial gut bacteria diversity. 50%. That is not a small decline. That is the body's internal firefighting system running on half its original crew. Because those bacteria are responsible for regulating the inflammation that is hardening your blood vessel walls. Without them, the quiet fire has nobody putting it out. Most people hear this and reach for a probiotic. But here is what the old healers understood long before modern researchers arrived. Probiotics alone cannot restore what has been lost. They need two other things to function. Prebiotic fiber to nourish the bacteria once they arrive. Without it, the bacteria land in an empty field and starve. And postbiotics, which are the actual healing compounds the bacteria produce once they are well fed and thriving. Think of it as seed, soil, and compost. You cannot have a living garden with seeds alone. All three must be present. And in most bodies after 60, all three have gone missing. There is a fourth force, and it connects everything I just described into one complete picture. Red blood cell production depends on iron, folate, and vitamin B12. Many seniors run quietly low on all three, not from eating poorly, but because the gut bacteria we just discussed are responsible for absorbing these nutrients efficiently. When the bacteria are gone, absorption collapses. Fewer building materials for red blood cells. Less warmth delivered to your hands and your feet. One long failure connected at every point. The old healers of my lineage watched this picture across generations. In my grandfather's village, the elders who stayed warm and capable into their 80s were the ones whose gut ran strong, whose blood was full, whose warmth reached the edges. The ones who lost warmth early were the ones whose foundation had quietly emptied over years. Dorothy was 71 years old, a retired school teacher from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, when she came to me. Every single morning, even in July, she pulled on socks before her feet touched the floor. Her doctor had checked her circulation and found nothing critical. What had been overlooked was 3 years of quiet kidney function decline and a vitamin B12 level well below what her blood production required. We began the plant protocols together. After 4 months, the coldness in her feet reduced by about 40%. Her mornings improved, her sleep improved. But there was a wall, a stubborn remaining coldness that the protocols alone could not fully move. I watched her hit that wall and I knew what it meant because I had seen it before. I will tell you what we did next and what happened after in a few minutes. But first, let me show you the protocol. If this conversation is giving you something useful, my people, take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel. Many folks have told me they watched for months without realizing they were not subscribed. It is free, it takes no time, and it helps this knowledge reach more seniors who are still looking for real answers. The recovery protocol works in 4 layers. Each layer addresses one of the 4 forces. The people who build all 4 layers together are the ones who write to me months later. The ones who use 1 or 2 see partial results, assume it is not working, and stop too soon. Layer 1, the morning circulation opener. Ginger root and cayenne pepper together. Fresh ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogols that relax the smooth muscle walls of blood vessels, allowing them to widen and carry more blood outward to the extremities. Cayenne contains capsaicin, which promotes dilation in the smallest peripheral vessels, the ones in your fingers and toes that have been narrowing for years. Together, they address vessel stiffening from 2 directions at once. Each morning, slice 1 thumb width of fresh ginger root, steep it in water at roughly 175 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. Add 1 small pinch of cayenne and the juice of half a lemon. Drink this before eating anything. An empty stomach allows the active compounds to reach the bloodstream before digestion competes for the body's attention. Do this every morning for at least 4 weeks before evaluating the results. Layer 2 is the one that surprises most people. Raw beetroot contains nitrates the body converts into nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessel walls throughout the entire circulation, widening the pathway for blood to reach the smallest vessels. Nettle leaf is among the highest plant sources of bioavailable iron and folate, 2 of the 3 nutrients required for red blood cell production. These 2 plants address both nutritional depletion and vessel constriction at the same time. Blend 1/2 cup of raw beetroot with 1 cup of water and the juice of 1 lemon. Steep 1 tablespoon of dried nettle in hot water for 8 minutes separately. Combine and drink once daily. Do this for 3 to 4 weeks, rest for 1 week, then resume. Layer 3 is the most underestimated piece, the hydration correction. Warm water, not cold, is what the kidneys prefer. Cold water adds thermal work to a body already struggling with coldness. 6 to 8 cups of warm water spread steadily from morning to early evening, with 1/8 teaspoon of natural sea salt per liter to replace the trace minerals the kidneys need for their filtering work. This is what the old ones called keeping the river moving, the simplest thing, and the one most people neglect longest. Layer 4 is the oldest piece in this protocol and the one I return to most. In the last 90 minutes before sleep, fill a basin with water as warm as comfortable. Add 3 tablespoons of dried ginger powder and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Soak your feet for 20 minutes. Without drying fully, massage the soles from heel to toe with sesame or coconut oil warmed between your palms. This does 3 things. The warm water draws blood actively to the extremities and trains the peripheral vessels to open. The ginger opens the capillary channels further. And the massage works the energy points at the base of the foot that the old healers understood as the gateway to kidney restoration, where warmth re-enters when it has been lost. Done close to sleep, the body carries that improved circulation into its overnight repair cycle. Most people I work with report noticeably warmer feet through the night within 2 weeks of consistent practice. Now, here is the part of this conversation I resisted the longest, and it is the part that matters most. Most people using this full 4-layer protocol see meaningful improvement, but a portion, maybe 4 or 5 out of 10, hit a wall at a certain point. Improvement that carries them part way, but will not go the rest of the distance. I watched this happen for years. I could not fully explain it until I understood what was happening in the gut underneath the protocol. The protocol addresses the downstream effects of gut bacteria loss, but it does not rebuild the gut terrain itself. The seeds, the soil, the compost, none of the plant protocols I have just described provide all 3 in combination. And in a body that has lost 50% of its gut bacteria diversity, the foundation needed to quiet the inflammation underneath has to be actively rebuilt, not just managed around. I spent 2 years looking closely at the people who plateaued versus the ones who did not. What separated them was gut terrain. I tested things I knew. I looked at what modern formulation had arrived at. And I found Buchbod, not quickly, not because it was handed to me, but because after 2 years of watching outcomes in people whose gut terrain was being actively rebuilt, the difference in results was not a small thing. Buchbod is built precisely on the 3-part structure I described: prebiotic fiber to feed the bacteria, lactospore as the probiotic strain, and postbiotics LM1004 as the clinically studied postbiotic, meaning it does not just deliver bacteria, it delivers the healing compounds the bacteria produce. Seeds, soil, and compost together in one daily gummy. It also contains dandelion root, which healers in my tradition have used for generations for gut strength and kidney support, alongside slippery elm to restore the gut lining itself. Over 30,000 people have been using it. It is third-party tested, non-GMO vegan, and it comes as a gummy, not a capsule or a pill. I have worked with seniors for decades. Capsule fatigue is real. The supplements pile up, the swallowing becomes a burden, and people stop. A gummy changes that relationship. It becomes something you actually look forward to. The link is in the description below. There is a 60-day guarantee. If it does not serve you, you receive your money back. No questions. For a body that has been cold for years, 60 days is a modest ask. And please, as with anything you bring into your daily practice, speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. Now let me finish Dorothy's story and tell you about Raymond. After Dorothy's 4-month plateau at 40% improvement, we added Buchbod to her daily practice. Within 6 weeks, the remaining coldness she had described as immovable had reduced by an additional 35%. At the 6-month mark, she told me the morning sock habit was simply gone. She said, "Amadou, my mornings feel like mine again in a way I had stopped expecting." Raymond was 68, a retired postal worker from Savannah, Georgia, who had spent 30 years on his feet. Those same feet had gone cold every evening for 3 years, as if they switched off at 5 o'clock. His kidney function sat at the low end of normal, B12 borderline, iron below optimal. We built the full 4-layer protocol with his physician's knowledge and support. At week 10, he had improved by about 60%. But the plateau was there. The evenings were better, but the full warmth he remembered had not returned. We added Buchbod. 6 weeks later, Raymond sent me a note I have kept. He wrote, "Amadou, I walked out to the garden last Sunday evening in my bare feet. I have not done that in 2 years. My feet found the ground the way they used to. That is what the gut terrain being restored looks like when you give it all 3 things it needs at once." Now let me give you the insider principles that determine whether your results look like Raymond's. After 45 years of watching what actually creates lasting change, three things separate the people who arrive at Raymond's outcome from the ones who plateau. Principle 1, drink the morning ginger tea before eating, not during a meal. An empty stomach allows the active compounds to reach the bloodstream before digestion competes for blood flow. This is not a minor distinction. It is how the protocol was designed to function. Principle 2, consistency over intensity. A small cup of beet and nettle tonic every single day for 6 weeks does more than 3 large servings per week with gaps in between. Peripheral circulation changes happen incrementally. The body needs a steady, repeated signal to shift, not an occasional heroic effort. Principle 3, honor the timing of the foot soak. Within 90 minutes of sleep, the warming practice works with the body's natural repair cycle. Done casually at random times, results are slower. Done at the right moment, most people notice feet that stay warm through the night within 2 weeks. 3 mistakes I see most often that undo the work people are doing. Mistake 1, warming the outside while ignoring the inside. Electric socks, hot water bottles, heating pads, these bring genuine relief in the moment. But they do not touch the EPO decline, the vessel stiffening, or the gut terrain underneath. External warmth is comfort. Restoration lives inside the body. Mistake 2, adding supplements without fixing hydration first. Iron, B12, beetroot powder all require adequate kidney filtration and blood volume to be transported properly. A dehydrated body moves supplemental nutrients slowly and wastes much of what you give it. Fix the hydration before and alongside everything else. Mistake 3, stopping in week 2 or 3. This is where most people quit, and it is the most costly mistake of all. The vessel lining that stiffened over years does not open in 3 days. Red blood cells cycle over roughly 120 days. Therefore, meaningful change across the system requires sustained support across multiple cycles. The people who stop at week 3 stop right before the body was about to begin showing the work back to them. Give this 8 to 12 weeks of honest daily practice before you evaluate. My friend, before we close, the cold in your hands and feet is not a small complaint to set aside. The body you have been carrying through these decades is intelligent and responsive. When it signals for a reason. And when you answer with the right conditions, it answers back. It is never too late to change the environment inside the body. At 70, at 75, at 80, the willingness to heal is still present. Think about what you are protecting here. Your independence, the mornings you move through your home without reaching for extra layers, the Sunday call with your grandchildren where your voice carries all the warmth they have always relied on. That is what this work is for. Let me lock this in. 1, cold hands and cold feet after 60 are a kidney signal, not a feature of aging. 2, the hidden driver is declining EPO production, which reduces the red blood cells carrying warmth to your extremities. 3, 4 forces accelerate this: chronic dehydration, vessel stiffening from inflammation, gut bacteria loss that fuels that inflammation, and nutritional depletion that starves red blood cell production. 4, the 4-layer protocol: morning ginger cayenne tea, beet nettle tonic, warm hydration with trace minerals, evening foot soak, addresses each force directly and builds meaningful improvement for most people. 5, for those who plateau, BoochBod provides the gut terrain restoration the protocol cannot reach alone. Seeds, soil, and compost, all 3 daily in the form the aging body can actually use. The link for BoochBod is in the description below. 60-day guarantee, 1 daily gummy, whenever you are ready. Subscribe to this channel if you found value here today. I am Amadou Salori. The old ways are still working.